Well, hello there, it's me, Sevilla. Welcome back to Childless Not by Choice, where my mission is to recognize and speak to the childless not by choice women and men around the world. So, here's the thing. I am in search of some new music. I've been thinking of writing something myself or just searching for something to buy. Not sure yet, but for now, no music on the intro or the outro. Thanks for your patience. And I probably will end up writing something. I just haven't got my brain to a place where it's receiving any kind of music or any tune. Sometimes things just pop into my brain and the tune shows up and, away we go. But I haven't got there yet. So bear with me. I guess you're witnessing another transformation right here on the platform. Well, wherever the music comes from, I will know it when I hear it. In the meantime, welcome to episode 113, episode 113. We have a lot to talk about today, so let's get started. We're going to be talking about where you are on your journey, where we are on our individual journeys, and I'll tell you why that's a thing, why that came up. We're going to talk about units. We're going to talk about Bullhorn, and we're going to talk about I know I probably mentioned in a previous episode that I had done the 3 episodes on grief and loss and being a caregiver, but, well, I kind of came up with a list. And so I'm going to go over the list with you today. So bear with me. And we're going to also be talking about, well, I guess that kind of would lead into just being in a different place now, in a different space mentally, emotionally, after losing my mom in May. Some of you know that happened. And so still dealing with that. It's September as of this recording. I'm a little late on the recording, by the way, but I've been just taking it one moment at a time sometimes. And so we're going to talk about that. And then I'm going to remind you now that I'll remind you at the end of the episode to remember to head on over to Apple Podcast and rate and review the show, or drop me a line. It's been a while since I've heard from anybody. Seriously, what's going on? I see that people are listening to the podcast, so it's not like everybody ran away. I don't think that I scared you off when I did the tribute to my mom in episode 110, or talked about being a caregiver, and what was that, episode 111? And so, anyway, I hope not, but it doesn't look like it because I do see a lot of downloads, and thank you. Thanks for tuning into the show and listening. It is truly appreciated. Before we get started, though, fully, I would like to thank my Patreon contributors. The Patreon contributors are those who make a monthly contribution to the platform via Patreon. And so whether you contribute via patreon.com/childless not by choice, or you go to the website and contribute via PayPal, your contributions are appreciated and used to help the platform get the word out to the world. So thank you very much for your contributions, but thank you especially to my Patreons who have their credit cards deducted every month. And I know that many people are just like, well, I don't know if I want to make that kind of commitment, but the commitment can be as little as $5 a month or as much as you'd like. And so the patrons that are making monthly contributions are Jordan Morgan, Sandra Carzado, and I have a spot right here for your name. So, hey, if they can do it, you can do it. They are making sure that we keep the show on the road and on the air by making their contributions. So thank you guys. I really, really appreciate it. And I appreciate you. Remember, if you ever have questions or comments and you want to contact me, you can email me at info@sevillamorgan.com or just sevilla@sevillamorgan.com. You may also visit the website at childlessnotbychoice.net. And if you look to the left of the website, if you're on a laptop, I always forget about that. Things can look different based on what type of device you're on. The websites are set up so that they are, I can't remember the term, I don't remember, there is a term for it. But no matter what device you're on, it shows up properly, but things can be moved around a little bit. So on the laptop, if you look to the left of the home screen and click on the link below the telephone, you can leave me a message of up to 90 seconds. Just a simple voice message of up to 90 seconds, either questions or comments or queries, suggestions, whatever. And you can also email me. those same questions or queries or suggestions or whatever. So be sure to reach out. I'm still here. I mean, yes, things are different. Like I said, I'm taking things one day at a time, but I am still here. I'm still passionate about the platform, about you, about how you're doing, and I don't see that changing. I know that there are some podcasts that have a lifetime, and then there are others that just keep on going. And as far as I know, this podcast is going to keep on going. I'm going to tell you about another podcast, though. So, yeah, that's one of the other things that we're going to be talking about. Okay, so let's get started. I got a message. Well, it was a message that was posted in the Childless Not by Choice with Sevilla Morgan Facebook group. And it was from a new member of the group. And she said, I know that many of you, and I'm just, I'm not reading it verbatim here, but she basically said that she knew that many of us might be further along than she is. She's still trying to heal and deal with the fact that she's not going to be having any children. And so she wanted to know, what episodes to listen to. So we're at episode 113 right now. And it never occurred to me that although I may have made a progression as I've created this platform. It's 4 years old. We're at episode 113. I may not be the same person I was at episode 1 or 5 or 10 or 20. And you may not be the same person if you've listened to every single episode. And thank you for tuning in to every single episode. Thank you to those of you who go through the entire catalog and just listen to everything. That is like the coolest thing you can do, and I really appreciate it. And so anyway, she said, I don't even know where to start with, what episodes to listen to help me out. The episodes that are taking place right now, they may not be able to help me. And so I said, she has a point. And I told her I would send her some episode links of episodes I thought would be great for her to listen to where she is now. And then I heard about this thing called units. And I was like, wait just a minute, units? How cool is that? You can actually go into your group. If you are the owner of your group, you can just go into your Facebook group and literally create units based on whatever the subject matter is for your group. So for us, what I did was I took all of the episodes. I'm not finished yet because it's a little tedious. You literally have to go in and grab the links to each episode and put them into a unit by subject matter. And so I did that, and I've done 5 units so far. And I'm trying to get over there now, but let me get there while I'm talking. But I've basically done 5 units so far. Oh, I logged out of Facebook to help me save bandwidth while recording. Let me log back in just so I can tell you what the names of the units are. But I created 5 units, and each unit, as I said, is set up based with episodes based on or by subject matter. And so just as an example, if you're in the group, you've seen the units or you have access to them. If you're not, what I did was I went through the entire catalog and the entire 112 episodes before this one, and I grabbed episodes based on subject matter. So I did a caregiver unit because that's pretty much what I've been going through. That's been my life the last few years. And so I grabbed episodes 110, 111, and 112 and created a unit called the caregiver episodes. And then I have a unit, I don't think I've created the actual unit yet, but the list I have for author interviews, actually I did, because what I did was I created some graphics for each unit too. And so author interviews, I have 4 episodes right now, and episodes 86, 90, 105, and 109 would be episodes where I interviewed authors, and these are authors who are in the childless not by choice space. And then I have another unit, and this has a lot of episodes in it, but I call it the heart and mind episodes. And in these episodes, we're dealing with the broken hearts of the childless. So one episode might be episode 65, where I interviewed a woman who is now in her 70s, but had to have a hysterectomy when she was in her 30s, never having had children. That was a great episode to record. It was great. She gave me a light bulb moment. I'll let you listen so you can hear what that light bulb moment was. And episodes 68 and 69 is, childlessness, a crisis. And I talk about Kaplan's theory of crisis. And so just, the heart issues. The episode 73, Sixth Sense, the demeanor of loss. Episode 84, rubbing salt into the wounds. Episode 89, unexplained or idiopathic infertility. All of those episodes I put under the unit heart and mind episodes. So I've basically done the work for you. I'm not completely finished yet, but I've done the work for you of just grabbing all of the episodes and setting them by subject matter into units, and they are now available in the Childless Not by Choice with Sevilla Morgan Facebook group. So whether you've been in the group for a long time or you're just joining, you now can go to whatever unit pertains to where you are on your journey. Is that cool or what? I am so glad that came along, that that's a thing now that can be done. Awesome work. It's work for me, but I'm enjoying it actually. I'm actually enjoying going back and looking into the catalog, which I don't get to do very often, and see what I've talked about and maybe what can be talked about again. And so that's it for units. And then as far as, back to what this woman said in the group, if you want to talk about how you're doing 4 years into the platform, if you've been with us that long, or if you just joined, tell me how you're doing. Tell us how you are doing. And I'd be interested in hearing. It's kind of interesting how you can be on a journey and you started out in a certain way and it started out rough and tough and just like you never thought you'd be able to get to a place, whether it's a literal journey or a figurative journey. You just felt like, oh my gosh, this is going to be my life. I cannot make it through this. This is so hard. I can't do this. How do other people get through? And all the things that you tell yourself. And then one day you look up, you look around, and you look back and you're like, wait a minute, I came from there? And that's pretty much how I feel. I mean, you guys know if you've been listening for any amount of time, you know that I still struggle with Mother's Day, and I now do not go to church on Mother's Day. It's just not worth it. And especially now that my mom is gone, I have no real reason to go because I had stopped going, but I had started to just go with her on Mother's Day to honor her. And so now that she's gone, well, really, what's the real reason? Because I still don't believe that when they ask the mothers to stand up, and some women stand up even though they're not mothers because they're just like, I'm standing. That's not me. I'm not going to do that. But at the same time, remaining seated hurts. And so I've just opted not to go. If it doesn't hurt for you, then go. You do what's best for you. Some people I know don't go to baby showers. I don't go to baby showers either. I won't go. And so some people may think, oh, she's being a hater. No, I'm being a protector of my own heart. It's mine to protect. So anyway, that's where I think I am in the journey. Just I think I'm a lot further along. 4 years in, 112 going on 113 episodes in. But that means then that I know what I can and cannot do and will not do. So I won't go to church on Mother's Day and I won't go to baby showers. So anyway, tell me how you're doing. And I'd love to hear because it's like I said earlier, I haven't heard from anybody in a while. So anyway, that's it for the units, for the recap. And then there's this thing that I just learned about at Podcast Movement 2019, you guys. It's called Bullhorn. Bullhorn. And I put the link in the show notes so you can go check it out yourself on your website browser, whether on your laptop or your iPad or your tablet or your smart device, wherever. It's called Bullhorn. Now, check this out. It doesn't matter where in the world you are. My understanding from my conversation with the Bullhorn rep at Podcast Movement 2019 was no matter where in the world you are, you can listen for free to a podcast as long as a podcast is signed up with Bullhorn. And yes, Childless Not by Choice is on Bullhorn. We're pretty much everywhere at this point, you guys. I mean, if you are on a podcast player and you don't see Childless Not by Choice on there, let me know, please, because I'm going to go figure out how to get on there. But chances are, Childless Not by Choice podcast is on that podcast player, whether it's Android or iOS. We're there. If you're Android, you can go to Podbean and you'll find us. If you're on an iOS device, you can find us just about anywhere. I'm just looking for the names of some of these. There's Castro. There's the ones that I use the most, really. Oh, that's the Bullhorn app. There's the Apple Podcast Player that comes native with your device. There's Overcast, Stitcher. Honestly, Stitcher is where I listen to most of my podcasts, but I listen to podcasts in each player. I have a few podcasts in each player just so I can be familiar with how the players work and how my podcast appears on the player. So there's Himalaya, there is Luminary, and yeah, I said all of the other ones. Podbean. So if you have a particular podcast player that you like that I'm not on there, please do let me know. But Bullhorn, you guys, check this out. So if you are in Timbuktu and you have a smart device and you don't have any bandwidth, you can still listen because you're dialing into a phone number. Is that the coolest thing? So now, no matter where in the world you are, tell your friends. If you have a smart device, where I think almost everybody on this planet has a smart device, no matter where they are or, how they're living, I think just about everybody has a smart device or has access to one. When you go to Bullhorn, you log in, you enter the information for the phone number based on where in the world you are. So whatever your phone numbers look like in your world, here in the US, for instance, our phone numbers are 10 digits, the area code and the phone number. In the UK, what is it? The 2 digits, then the 3 digits, then the 4, whatever. However it's set up in your country, wherever in the world you are, you go to Bullhorn, you sign up and you get a phone number and you dial into that phone number and then it allows you to listen to the podcast. It's really easy. And as I said, I put the link to Bullhorn in the show notes so you can check it out. But the website, just in case you can't access show notes for whatever reason, the web address is bullhorn.fm. Frank Mary, bullhorn.fm. So do check it out because I thought it was the coolest thing when this man was explaining it to me. I did reach out to him after the podcast convention, still waiting to hear back. I know a lot of us are still, unwinding and I've reached out to people that I've met and people have reached out to me, but I know that we're still trying to unwind. So no worries, but I am waiting to hear back from him because I just need more information. And when I get the information, I will be sure to forward it on to you guys. Please do check out Bullhorn, especially if you don't have a whole lot of bandwidth to use, from one month to the next. This is the coolest thing. And so then I created this thing. I may leave that, I don't know. Well, I created a list. I'm a list person in case you didn't know. So I created this list and the original title of the list was 10 silly things people say when you lose a loved one. And then I said, nah. I was listening to a virtual podcasting summit the other day, and they were like, stop with the top 10 lists already. So I was like, oh, maybe I should stop saying 10 things of this and 10 things that and all of that stuff. So I decided to rename it, and I now call it What People Say When You Are Grieving, and What They Should Say, and What You Wish You Could Say Back to Them, but you decide to smile or remain silent instead. Yeah, it's a long title. I may change it again. But again, the title is What People Say When You Are Grieving, What They Should Say, and What You Wish You Could Say Back to Them, but you decide to smile or remain silent instead. Yes, my mom taught me well. I wish I listened to her more, but sometimes you just have to bite your tongue and just be kind. Because, at the end of the day, I mean, I may seem a little bit sarcastic about this, but really, at the end of the day, I know that people are doing the best they can. I believe most people on this planet are just doing the very best that they can. And I also believe that, especially in the Western world, most people don't know how to deal with grief and death. They don't know what to say. And it surprised me after the loss of my mom how people just don't know what to say. And so check this out. Here's my list, okay? Number 1. How old was she? Well, What I'm feeling on the inside is, why does that matter? Because it doesn't matter how old a person is. They could be 100, but if that's your mom and that was your best friend, then when they are gone, they're still your mom and your best friend, whether they were 40 or 100. Yes, you may have gotten to spend more time with them if they're 100, but still, the bottom line is, it's your mother. In my case, my mother. So please don't ask how old was she. It doesn't matter. And then the next one is, it was her time. Really? How do you know it was her time? Because you're not God, okay? So I just don't understand how you know it was her time. And then the next one, time heals all wounds. And my response is, for whom? Whose wounds are being healed? And how long is this time? And then, was she sick? And my thought process is, what's the difference? I mean, so what? Whether she was sick or not. She's still gone, and I still miss her, and I'm still grieving, and so why does it matter if she was sick? And then the next one is the comment. The first one was a question, was she sick? The next is, well, she was sick. And my thought is, really? Because I don't see how it matters. Again, how does that matter? And then the next one, she was ready to go. Again, really? Oh, and this is one of my favorites. She's in a better place. Hollow words. I've used them myself. She's in a better place. Okay, thank you. That makes me feel so much better. I appreciate it. And then it gets better. Oh, okay, thanks. I'll wait. I'll wait for it to get better. And then this one I heard really recently when I was just finishing up this list. It's a part of life. No kidding. I know. I've said it before too. I've said it on this very podcast that this is the one thing in life that's 100% guaranteed. We're all going to die. But still, I mean, if I just told you that my mom passed in May and your response is, it's a part of life, I'm sorry. It sounds a little harsh. And so when I hear stuff like that, I just say nothing. And then the last one on this list, humor too soon. Because you know what? It's not funny. And I know that we all deal with and handle things differently, but sorry, it's not funny. I'm still grieving. I'm still dealing. I was at work the other day, and I think the trigger was a phone call I got asking for my mom just as I was walking into work. That may have been it, or I think I may have already been feeling a certain way anyway. So I walked into work. I got there and I was signing in, and then the tears started just rolling down my face. And I'm like, oh my gosh, not now. I'm trying to get ready for work. I'm trying to sign in, and I tried stopping the tears. They just kept rolling. They just kept rolling down my face. I finally got up from my desk and went to the bathroom and just sat in the stall and just cried. And when I thought I was done crying, I got up and just went back to my desk, and tears started rolling again. I'm like, oh my goodness. And of course, one person asked if I was okay, and I said yes, but everybody else was just like really quiet. Even my manager, who would usually have said, are you going to start work anytime soon? They were saying nothing. And I just had to wait. I just had to wait until that wave passed. And then I started working because I'm in Grief Share, as some of you know. It's a group grieving session. I meet once a week, and I didn't know there was a name for it, but it's called the ambush. And basically your grief ambushes you at the least expected time. I mean, I was just going in to get ready for work, sit down at my desk and sign in and start talking, and boom, the tears came, and they just would not stop. So it's called an ambush, and I've had the ambushes several times. It's only been 4 months, So anyway, then to be positive, I created a list called What You Should Say. And so these are my suggestions if you don't know what to say. Number 1, she was a wonderful person. Number 2, she left a beautiful legacy. Number 3, may you always remember her voice. Because I'll tell you, even 4 months on, I'm struggling to remember her voice. And I'm like, how could I not remember her voice? Oh my gosh, what's happening? Anyway, and then number 5, be encouraged. I love that. I first heard that from a pastor that I love to listen to, Bishop T.D. Jakes. I heard him say, be encouraged. And I just love that. That's just, those 2 words are just so full of just meaning for me. And so much so that they are a part of my auto signature on my smart device. I just love it. Be encouraged. And so, anyway, if you don't know what else to say, trust me. If you just tell somebody, be encouraged, I mean, I don't know. Everybody takes things differently. I would hope that they would appreciate that. But I love it anyway. And then if that doesn't work, if that doesn't feel natural to you, then try this one. I pray for peace that passes all understanding. Because I'll tell you right now, that's what I had during the time when my mom passed. Because honestly, I'm still in shock sometimes. I cannot believe that the one person whose face I saw every day for my entire life is gone. And I had no warning because they released her on a Friday and she was gone on Monday. Usually when you release somebody from the hospital, it's because they're getting better, right? So I feel completely tricked by the medical community, to be honest, quite honest. I didn't see it coming. And so anyway, I know that people were praying for me and praying for a peace that passes all understanding, because I don't know how else I would have gotten through this. I honestly do not know. And so a peace that passes all understanding, I think anybody would appreciate hearing that. And then you can also say, I'm so sorry for your loss. You can also say, how are you doing? And you can say, and mean it, how may I help you? And you can say, she loved her family. So this goes for anybody. If it's a sibling or a father that passed, you can just replace the words. But these are just helpful tips as to what to say when you don't know what to say, because I just ran into just too many people who just did not know what to say. It's just unbelievable to me. So hopefully these words work for you. I hope they're helpful. Anyway, if you have any tips to add, feel free to write in on that as well. Because maybe there's more, but I could only come up with 10 things. There's got to be more. So that's it for the 10 things that you should and should not say to someone who has suffered a loss. As you can probably tell, I am in a different place now, mentally, emotionally, even physically. I've gained a few pounds. But, I'm still in shock that she's gone. I know she's gone. I know she's not on a trip and she's coming back. She's really not coming back. And I've had to just, make my way through those things. And some of you see me doing my my Facebook Lives, which I haven't done them very often lately for obvious reasons. But yeah, you've seen me at Podcast Movement, and I'm doing life. I'm back to work. I'm still, caring for my dad, and still doing the podcast, still working on the platform. I'm doing life, but I'm still also in shock that she's gone, really. And, I'm thankful that I've had siblings who have come and helped me do things like clear the closet and put things aside to give away to organizations. And there are 2 organizations that we're going to be giving things to, things like that. But it's still unbelievable to me. It really is. And I think a big part of it is I just did not know. I had no idea. Some people say that they know. I belong to a group where some people say that it's happening and they'll tell you it's happening and that they were there for the end with their parent and all of that stuff. But I had no idea. I literally thought that they released her because she was getting better. And all I can think now is that they knew, but they felt maybe she'd be better off at home. And so, I've watched other friends that I know who have lost both parents, and I've seen them change. It's not a negative change, it's just that it's a change. And I didn't know what it was about until it happened to me. And now I get it. I totally get that there's a change. You can't be the same person after the person who has been your best encourager and the person that's always in your corner is just suddenly not there, and you've got to deal with it because they're not coming back. So if you pray to the God of the book, keep me in prayer, keep my family in prayer, keep my dad in prayer. And I know many of you have gone through the same thing. I know, I get it. It's not just me, but it's me right now. It's me right now. It's me for the last 4 months. She's really not coming back. And so just keep us in prayer and just know that I'm trying to make my way through. I'm still going to do one episode a month for now. But one of the other reasons that I am doing one episode per month is I have made the decision to create a new podcast, a whole different podcast, totally different subject matter. I'm not going to get into it right here, right now, but just so you know, I'm working on the outline. I'm going to be meeting with my podcast producer, I think next week sometime. And I'm thinking 25 episodes max. And so, I feel like it's something I really need to do. Not because I have nothing else to do, trust me. I have tons of things to do. It's after midnight right now. And so, I have a million things to do every day. Every day. I don't have a day off. Do not have a day off. Never. And so I just feel like this podcast has to happen though. And I'll tell you more about it as it comes, to fruition and to light. But that's where we are right now. I'll be working on a second podcast. Hey, if you want to write a blog, because I haven't seen anything, I haven't written anything. There are ideas moving around in my head for things to write, but I have not written anything. If you want a guest blog, please let me know. There is a whole link at the bottom right-hand corner of the website on how to guest blog for the platform. If you want to be a guest blogger, even if you've guest blogged before and you want to do it again, please feel free, because we haven't blogged in a while on this platform. And I honestly am not in a place to do everything. Remember, I'm now working full-time, taking care of a parent, and maintaining this platform. I'm not going to grumble about any part of it because it's what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm where I'm supposed to be. And so no biggie, but just know that I am from the moment my eyes open in the morning until they shut at night, I am on go. I'm on the run. So if you want a guest blog, or somebody who is childless, not by choice, that's the only parameter you have to meet, that you're childless, not by choice, man or woman. I have yet to have any men write a blog for this. I'm trying to get a man to write a blog for us, for the platform. So if you know of anybody who is childless, not by choice, and that would like to guest blog, please let them know that they are welcome to do so. The link is on the bottom right of the website when you're on a laptop or desktop. So let's see. I think I covered quite a bit. I know that it was a little bit of an eclectic episode, but I hope that it was a good episode. I hope that I didn't lose you when I was talking about the top 10 list. We need to do a little bit better with reaching out to people and not being afraid to face somebody who has suffered a loss, and just look them in the eye and tell them, I'm sorry for your loss. I think that's wonderful. You're not going to make them cry. If they cry, you didn't make them cry. It's because they need to cry. It's because it's happening. So I think that's the big fear too, that people feel like they're going to make people cry. No, you're going to cry anyway. If you're going to be crying, you're going to cry, if that makes sense. So anyway, thanks for tuning in to episode 113. I hope that no matter where in the world you are, knowing that something like Bullhorn exists will help you when you're tuning into podcasts, especially the Childless Not by Choice podcast. I hope you will take a moment to head on over to Apple Podcast and rate and review this show. And I hope that you will drop me a line and tell me what's going on, because I haven't heard from anybody. And I hope that I've covered everything. I think I have. Okay? So thanks for tuning in, and until next time, I'll talk to you later. Oh, by the way, there are some great shows coming, interviews. Trust me, I have some interviews coming. I'm working on 2 right now. And so it's not always going to be just my voice. It's just been like that the last few months, but I have a couple of great interviews coming, and I'm working for some really big interviews for 2020. So never you fear. We still do interviews here. All right, until next time. Bye.